This is Justin Amazon on April 26th, a Thursday, and we will get to Amazon earnings in a little bit. But this is Justin Amazon with a look at the pre-market from this morning, and we are looking like we're in the range of a couple days ago. So we're actually gapping up. Yesterday it closed as a slightly bullish candle with a large lower wick. That was all this. And so now we're looking like we're going to gap up, and the possibility of forming a Morningstar reversal in this area with the retracement back down to the range that we were in before we broke out from the 1455 price. So just wanted to show the picture of all this coming down, then just this massive selling, and then recovery, and then just chop through the rest of the day, and then kind of a breakout here, retest of this, these lower highs, retest of that breakout, and now we're even higher. And so this, if anybody had bought in here, I mean, they're moving up with a stop down here. You could have moved a stop here, close down the day, and you're positive if you had held. And again, it's tough to hold the options with the large. What am I trying to say? The extra premium that's built in because of earnings. Then you get a much bigger account than me, or you're risking a lot more than me with $100, because that's not what I can do. So anyway, we're looking to open up in this area here. We got a little bit of a support here that looks like we're retesting right before the open. So we'll zoom in on the day a little bit more here. There you go. So we're up here around 1483 as kind of a support. Even this candle here, it's all really close, maybe 1484, 1485. So that may be a key area to look for, something to kind of hold, or if we break down, come down in here and bounce, that'd be a great retest of these candles here. 1468, we've had the line in here. So anyway, we'll step into the day now. So we get somewhat of an indecision candle, a little bit of a larger body than a typical indecision, but the range on this was pretty decent for an open with this kind of a gap up. And it does say, okay, there's some people selling thinking it's going to pull back. There's some people buying thinking it's just going to maintain. But we actually opened a little bit above, right around this level here. So these, 1, 2, 3, 4 candles here, really 3 of them that are bouncing at this level, right around 1485, are looking somewhat promising. That we haven't actually broken that except for this one pre-market. And I don't mean to discount that, but to have it come down here and then immediately gap up and open, you're going to look at this level. So let's see what happens if we immediately move one way or the other. And the next candle is an inside candle, a very similar lower wick. The lows here are, let's see, this one is 1480, and this one is 1480. Oh, they are tweezer bottom. That's kind of cool. They're the exact same low. So at this point, you could put a trigger right here above or right here above, a stop down here, and that's a pretty wide range. So you'd want to do that probably with the shares themselves instead of the options, because of large amount of premium. And now we have another inside candle. This is from here, very small body. Now we have no body basically, but some indecision here, waiting for something to happen. Again, have a stop here, trigger here or here, possibly even here by this if you want to get really aggressive, but you really want to wait for a close, get above the bearish candle, trap all those people shorting. Okay, we come down a little bit more. We actually look like we're breaking from this candle bearish, come right down into that low. For these candles, actually break through the tweezer bottom, and instead of holding the support here, here, and here, now we've actually retested down to this support, and that's kind of the last place that we have, this area we have any sort of support here before we come back down to 1468. So this looks like it's just going to roll back down. Okay, then everyone will load up and buy. but it doesn't necessarily do what everyone wants to do. So it kind of bounces there, retraces a little bit. Looks like you're almost back up into the body of this candle for a breakdown, retest, rollover. That's what you'd expect seeing this for a little bit larger retest. Instead, it starts to bounce a little bit more, actually taking out the high of the indecision candle. And if this is a retest, it's not really holding the resistance here. It would really need to hold this resistance up here, or definitely up here, for a rollover down to this level. But it is a bullish gap. And on the bullish perspective, this kind of looks like a double bottom with the neckline about in here or so, and you could go bullish here by here, or above the wick from the opening 5 minute. So we move into the candle, and now we got 15 minutes of Robinson buying. We're losing a little bit of volume. That's okay. It looks like it's actually moving up, and then we move up again. We actually take out the high in the day, retest within the 5 minute candle. So it looks like there's a little bit of selling coming in. Either stops being hit for anybody who shorted through here, that okay, now they're going to stop out, and right up into the pre-market resistance here right now. And so it would make sense that if this is going to continue moving bullish, maybe it pulls back another couple dollars in here and then bounces, and it keeps moving up. A little bit lower wick, so it did sell a little bit down. Here's a little bit of a flag here, and now the 1500 price is totally in sight, and we get there on the very next candle. So this actually moved relatively quickly with just a little tiny S curve here and then a bounce. But in some of these small candles, it did actually retest the high of the day, or the opening high, and then continue to bounce right into the 1500 price. And with the amount of bullishness we're seeing here and the amount of bearishness we saw the other day, and I don't have that in the reversal for yesterday, this may not pause at 1500. This could continue higher. It would be great if it retests a little bit. Okay, there's a retest from below. Just kind of chop around on 1500. And this is a much better S curve here than this one was. This is just a little bit of a flag. You've got a stop way down here below any of these other candles, maybe a stop here and a trigger here, but then you're going to want to take half an hour profit and then see if it's going to roll down. This is where you say, okay, we are really close to 1500. That's a nice round number. We're below it, we push through it. If we continue with this bullish movement, get in at 1500, stop down at 1494 or something like that. And right now it's breaking out. Very slight breakout. You really want to see it get moving pretty quickly above the 1505 high on this candle. And so it retests and just goes sideways. Looks like it's going to roll down now. This could look like a double top here. Really small candles. We're forming that squeeze. A stop down here would still be working, so you're still in. It's come all the way back down. And they're not quite all the way back down, staying above a little bit more. And just some really sideways action on here. A great consolidation, just waiting, people buying and selling, wanting something to happen and nothing happening. And now we get a little bit of a move above 1500. So we're starting to push against the resistance of this these lower highs to see, okay, is this going to make another lower high and just chop for a while longer? And it's right into the lunch hour on Eastern time zone. So we start to actually move up. Now we actually made a higher high here. And it is getting a little hard to see these small candles. So if you weren't in on here, breaking out, pull back. Hopefully you kept your stop down here, didn't tighten up your stop, would have been stopped out. But if you left your stop where it was, it just bounced again. Some indecision right here with the 21 exponential, a little bit of move higher, but not enough to really get in. And then, just more candles or just this pause. And it's like, okay, this could be a flag to the bear side, roll over it here. Or if it continues, get in at 1500 with a stop, maybe even, moved up to 1496, something like that. A couple bucks here, not too much. Up here, you're almost at 1R already. It looks like it's going to retest this kind of downtrend breakout. So that might be on the upper angle there. And then it starts to break out. Okay, pull back. and we just have some chop above the 1500, and then after these couple candles it starts to move a little bit quicker. So up here you're probably at 2R had you gotten in down here, or close to it if you hadn't. The squeeze fired bullish. It looks like it could continue moving higher, and our next line is at 1514, and we just push right on through that. So up here, this would be a great place to take profits. Obviously, if you wanted to get in, don't get in here. 4 bullish candles in a row, right into another line. Wait for a pullback into 1514 at least, maybe a little bit lower. We don't have any candles yesterday or today up in this range, but we have others further back. I don't know that it would come back down to 1505. That'd be great for it to come back down to 1500, 1505. This resistance, now broken out, and see if it's new support. So we'll see if we get a little bit of a pullback. Okay, so we got a pullback right into 1514 to the penny, and then it starts to bounce again and moves higher. And there we go. So this is your immediate retest. Here's a little longer retest. 14, 15, 16. I'm sorry, 15, 14, 16. $1,514.16 on that. And now it's looking like it's bouncing again, and it breaks out. Now we're at the 1528 price. So we start out the day in the middle of a range. Could have gone either way. Form a double bottom, a little bit of a retest to the previous high, move up, chop around right on one of our lines, move up, retest from above to one of our lines. Now we're at another line with a nice selling candle. Upper wick, really small, but we had a nice strong candle before it. Might have a nice strong bearish candle below it, but you could actually take this on a reversal right here at a 1528, or at least let it pause here. Let it pull back a little further to 1514, and then buy there or something. And so we do actually roll down a little bit. We throw a lower wick here, so you could have traded this below this price of 1525 by 1530, so $5 risk, and you're on this wick down, you're at an R, and then it retraces back up. Now up here you may be thinking, okay, I don't want it to move any more higher. I'm going to move my stop here, lock in a couple bucks, not much gain, but at least it's not going to take you out. This may have wicked you out, or maybe you're still in up here, or moved your stop down, or left it alone, you're up here waiting to see a rollover. This is a little bit of buying here off the exponential, and it could actually rally right back into 1528. And in this case, it actually comes back down a little bit. Doesn't quite get up here, so now this looks like a wider double top. And we're getting close to the end of the day, just more chop. Here we go. So we actually rolled down, came down as far as 1516, not quite as far as 1514. And I think now we're there. So on this candle now, right again at 1514. So this was support here, support here, support here. These lines are really working well. Resistance here, chopping around here. So these 3 lines are really key. Go back and watch the video I did with the fibs, the wider time frame. I think it was hourly or something we're looking at, and just seeing how things match up so well. These lines are really strong in here. At least there's ways to play the movements off of them and in between them. So almost the end of the day, we actually pushed through 1514, then bounced, and we will take a step back and look at options. So this just kind of was a constant grind higher all day. These really small candles in here, not too much movement, a lot of anticipation for tomorrow with earnings. And let's actually take a look. If you would have played earnings, you have a massive candle all the way up to 1641. Would have had to been buying here at the close, looking for a big move. I think we are slightly above the previous high. I think it was around 1617. But just look at this move. I mean, let's take a step back up. So we won't really trade that, but you can see a little bit of an S curve here, and then a bounce. As it looks like it's going to roll down, then it bounces. Actually bounced really well here. Could be doing another S curve here. So We'll see if we get any more of a pullback to a previous high, and I think we need to go look, yeah, at another time frame. So here's the daily, and the high of the daily is 16.17 and 54 cents, and it looks like we are going to open, well, not open tomorrow, but we'll have to look at what it was. Looks like Amazon could open way up here, which means all these people are trapped. All these people are trapped. All these people, everybody who has ever sold any bearish candle, people who are still holding on, especially these with, I think it was nearly a shaved top. Yeah, this one was a shaved top candle. We have another triangle forming here. We had this one. We came down into that range. Now we have this one, which has actually a green box up ahead, up over, up here. I can't really highlight it with another cursor or anything, and you can't see if I touch the screen. So now this triangle is a breakout triangle. This consolidation after hours today, we're up here, could totally retest. It's a bullish gap gapping from a white candle or a bullish candle. Just like this was a retest here, it paused, it retest. This could retest, it could pause here and go higher. It could pause here and pull back, or it could just pause here, go long sideways longer, and not do anything tomorrow. Or start with that and then move big, by late morning or afternoon. I mean, anything's really possible up here, but we're above everything. This is a new value for Amazon that's never been seen. We'll have to find some lines. Maybe we can draw in our 16.1754 price, or at least the open price up here of 16.1596, and see how this thing can move. But if we look back at some older triangles, there's only a few that are drawn in here. This was a consolidation, much smaller consolidation. This is a much larger consolidation, much larger candles all through here than way back here. But what happened was once it broke out, like we're about to see, got above the high here, it just kept going. It, up here above the high, it actually kept moving, a little bit of a pullback, but not much, back into the 5 exponential, and then it continued higher. So, I mean, it just moved up by probably similar to how wide this range is from here to here. It moved up, from, what was it, this level here to there. That's comparable, that's similar. And so if we look at that here and say, okay, I don't know what this line is supposed to be connected to. Oh, maybe up here. That's it. If you look at how wide this is at 1650 by 1250, let's call it, that's $400 move. If it breaks out here, that means you're up at $2,000. If it plays out similarly to how wide the open range was here to here, and then here to here, if that would play out similarly, and I don't know if it will, but even if you go from here to here, you're maybe right around 2,000 or a little bit less. So that's what we're looking at the daily. If we come back and look at this, totally incredible the way that this worked. This S curve back down, buy down in here, it's already way up here, taking out your previous high and actually taking out your all-time high. So if we go over and take a look at some calls, and I meant to zoom in on this. We just had some selling. We went sideways to open, but we're losing premium. And this actually pulled back the options, had a nice little hammer to buy off of. It could have gotten above that with getting in at maybe 1750 with a low or a stop down at 1550. That's $200. That would have moved pretty quickly. To get in, you would have had him buying down here, moved up here quickly, retested, and moved up. So you could have even gotten in on the lows here, set up an order to buy a low here with whatever your risk is, or taking this and then just some more chops sideways through here. A little bit of money to be made. This consolidation is right here. I could have gotten in above the breakout or on this retest. And so if we look back at this on where we're looking on the day, I need to zoom in on this one because that didn't do what I wanted it to do. Just zoomed in on the day. I need to look at just that. There we go. Okay. This was, I think, this range. see if we can match up where the cursor is. Look at some puts here too, because the puts, this just went sideways. Even though it moved down up here a little bit, it just went sideways here and then lost value. Nothing really got going on the bear side. You got 3 selling candles in a row here, 4 here, and 3 here. I guess maybe rejecting this and maybe some people loading on. A little bit of higher volume, then inside candle, and then a breakout. So all those folks are trapped. This consolidation here matches with, so right here where it looks like it could roll over, retest, and go down. Instead, you're breaking out bullish. Could have gotten in on that candle right here with a stop down here. That still would have been, probably well over 100, maybe $200 R, 150, just something with a little more range, because you want to put a stop down below some of this when it breaks out here, or get in on the pullback candle, which didn't actually pull back too far on the call. And so you can see just how we paralleled some of these moves. It moved rather quickly here, which moved quickly here. Then we retested the level that we have drawn and then rallied higher. So this is a little bit of a flag, retest, back to the low of this. So you're going to move your stop right in here for being stopped out for profit, trailed out. And then it rallied higher, and this is a great place right at resistance. You could have been buying, or could have been selling up here on the option for $3,000, close to the high here, because there's another line. Maybe you'd gotten in on this pullback, so 25 up to 30, so $500 per contract, or you had some sideways chop here, gotten in on this candle at maybe 20. Maybe 20.50, or gotten on this one on a retest at 21, 20, 75 cents. I don't know, $2,075. I don't know, something like that. Just held on. I mean, it's just moved. So these massive moves, we'll be looking to find something like that tomorrow, as we look at how to trade, or we look at trading the day tomorrow. There's a lot of bullishness here, a lot. All-time high, new territory. We see a couple of moves lower here, and then this one starting here. Not lower, but I mean just a pullback into the higher highs that it's making and higher lows that it's making. Actually, it's not making higher highs. So we get higher low here, higher low here, higher low here. But this high is a new high, and then this one is not. So we got a little bit of a roll there. So we'll see if we get a little bit more of a pullback. It'd be phenomenal to have a pullback into the 1578. If that doesn't happen, that's okay. We'll look for some reversal candles, Morningstar reversal, or a long lower wick, like a dragonfly doji, something like that, with long lower wick, and once it moves above, but not something that's too long. Maybe a hammer candle, bouncing, something like that. And you get in and close the next candle when it's moving up. So we will see how Amazon plays out tomorrow, and what we could have traded with the options, working into earnings and option expiration movements tomorrow. And so just be careful that as options are trying to lose their value into the close, that you're using strikes that are close enough to the action to actually make some money, bullish or bearish. Either one. Want to be really close on the strikes to the price with the opportunities that it can move in the money and move your option even more quickly. So hope you enjoyed the video. This is Justin Amazon.